Back. So today is the final session for our 19 JRTP. So today I'm going to tell you yeah guys, now are you guys able to understand? Nagarjuna, we are not creating the singleton, we are using the singleton. Spring is already implemented the singleton design pattern. We are not going to create it. We are going to use it. Okay. Guys, now do you understand action? Send a notice. What is the action that Java program is going to do? Send notice to submit. Send notice to submit the document. Send notice to submit doc. I'm going to send a notice to the citizen saying that your document is missing in the data collection. So please submit this document to continue your benefits. Otherwise, your benefits will be stopped. So like this, data collection is there. Data collection is used for collecting the data from the citizen. While collecting the data from the citizen, we need to ask some proofs also. If the proofs are missing, then DC module immediately will send a message, or you can say it is going to publish a message to missing docs topic in the Kafka, and this is going to act as subscribe. It is going to act as a listener. It is going to subscribe to the message from the Kafka. It is going to subscribe to that Kafka topic, and whenever a message comes to the topic, then a listener is going to execute in the correspondence. It is in the CO module. One listener will be available. CO module. DC module is sending a message to the Apache Kafka. Then CO module is going to listen to that message, and it is going to send a notice to the citizen regarding the missing documentation to submit. Now do you understand what is observable design pattern and where we are using Kafka in the real? This is the real scenario in the project, guys. Apache Kafka we have used for missing documentations. When citizen is submitting the data in the data collection, so case worker will ask some proofs also. If citizen forgot to bring that proof, then immediately a message will be triggered from the DC module to Apache Kafka. Now, Kafka topic is available. The application or the program which is publishing a message to the topic is called as a publisher, and the program which is subscribing to the message available in the topic is called as a subscriber. It is pub sub model. DC mod, when the document is missing, when the citizen is not submitting the particular document required by our application, DC module will publish a message to Apache Kafka topic. Then CO module is going to subscribe to that Apache Kafka topic. Whenever message published by DC, CO module will subscribe to that message and will send a notice to the citizen to submit that missing document. So here, can I say that CO listener is acting as a observer? Can I say that CO listener is acting as a observer? whenever a message comes to the topic, then it will listen to that message, then it will subscribe that message, it will send a notice to the citizen to submit that document. If document is not submitted within 1 week of time, the citizen benefits are going to stop. The citizen benefits are going to stop. So that is the requirement that we got from the client, and we have implemented this. Apache Kafka scenario. Understood, all of you? Are you guys able to understand why it is called as an observer? Because it is a listener. It is listening to the topic. When the message comes to the topic, then only it is going to execute. So here two things are covered. What is observer design pattern and where to use Apache Kafka in the project scenario. Right? Now, where you have used Apache Kafka in your project? Where you have used Apache Kafka in your project? Where you have used Apache Kafka in your project? DC module will collect citizen data. DC module will collect citizen data with proofs. If citizen did not submit the proof for the data, if citizen did not submit proof for the data, if citizen did not submit proof for the data, if citizen did not submit proof for the data, then DC module will publish message to Apache Kafka topic. Will submit the message to Kafka topic. Topic name missing docs topic. DC data collection missing docs topic. DC missing docs topic. In CO module we have Kafka listener. In CO module we have Kafka listener, which will listen to the topic, and will subscribe the message which got published to the topic. Will subscribe the message which got published to topic. When the message is CO listener will subscribe the message and will send a notice to the citizen to submit the document within 7 days. Otherwise, the benefits will get stopped for the citizen. CO listener will send notice to citizen to submit missing document. CO listener will send a notice to citizen to submit missing document. So in this scenario, we have used Apache Kafka. Apache Kafka is working based on pub-sub model. The application which is publishing a message to the topic is called as a publisher. The application which is subscribing the message is called as a subscriber. Here, within one application, DC module is acting as a publisher, CO module is acting as a subscriber. So to apply for the plans, citizen need to submit the data along with the proofs. When citizen is not submitting the data along with the proof, then the DC module will publish a message to the Kafka topic, because DC is only responsible for collecting the data. DC is not responsible for sending the notices. You may ask a question, Ashok, why to use the Kafka? Can directly DC send the notice to citizen now? Guys, are you getting that doubt? Are you getting that doubt? So whenever the document is missed, directly DC can send the notice to citizen now. Why to send a topic message? Why CO should send that? So that is called separation of the logics, right? DC only meant for data collection, not for sending the notices. For sending the notices, correspondence is responsible. We have differentiated the functionality. We have segregated the functionality into multiple modules. In the DC module also, you can write the logic to send the notice. But is it recommended to write the logic for data collection, notices sending in the DC? No, DC only meant for data collection. Notices sending is the responsibility of the correspondence module. So when the DC want to send a notice regarding the missing document, DC is publishing a message to the Kafka topic. Kafka topic message is subscribing by the CO module. CO module sending the notice to the citizen. So that is the functionality. Sir, why to use the Kafka topic? Why to write a listener? Why don't you write the logic in the DC? That means everything you can do in one module. Then why to divide the modules? Why to divide the modules? Are you getting my point? So is it recommended to write the notice sending logic in the DC module? It is not recommended to write the notice sending logic in the DC module. It is not recommended to write the notice sending in the DC module. DC module purpose is what? Only for collecting the data. Correspondence module purpose is to send the notices. DC module purpose is only collecting the data. When it is collecting the data, some data is missing. So if the data is missed, correspondence should send the notice to the citizen. How the correspondence will know that some document is missing? How the DC will send the information to the correspondence? How DC module will give the information to correspondence module? So the mediator between the DC module and the correspondence module is Apache Kafka. The mediator between the DC module and CO module is Apache Kafka, which is acting as a message broker. Apache Kafka is acting as a message broker. DC module publishing a message to the topic, CO module subscribing the message from the topic. Are you able to understand the perfect use case of the Kafka? Guys, are you able to understand the perfect use case for Apache Kafka? So if somebody asks you, where you have used Apache Kafka, can you explain? You have seen what is Apache Kafka. I conducted a workshop for 3 or 4 hours. One Sunday, I have conducted a Apache Kafka workshop for 4 hours. When the 19 JRTP batch is in the middle only. When the 19 JRTP batch is in the middle only, I have conducted a Apache Kafka workshop for 4 hours. You guys also attended that Kafka workshop. If anybody missed that Kafka workshop, no problem. I have uploaded that just 2 months back. Our batch started 4 months back. 2 months back, Apache Kafka workshop conducted 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours I have explained Apache Kafka, practically how to install the Kafka, how to implement the Kafka in the project also I have explained. One application is acting as a Kafka publisher, another application is acting as a Kafka listener. See this diagram. One application, I have taken 2 Spring Boot applications. The application which is running on the 9090 publishing a message to the Kafka, another Spring Boot application which is running on the 7070 subscribing the message from the Kafka. Now here DC module is going to act as a publisher, CO module is going to act as a subscriber. When the data is collecting by the data collection module, if some document is missed from the citizen, then DC module will publish a message to the topic. Then correspondence module will subscribe to that message, will send a notice to the citizen. DC module, CO module are communicating by using this Kafka as a message broker. Are you able to understand the perfect scenario to use Kafka in our IHIS application? Okay. Very good. Very good. So with this you understand where to use. Now one more important thing guys, we are using microservices. Microservices is also a design pattern. What are the design patterns we have used? Kafka listener is following observable design pattern. Microservices design pattern. Microservice itself is a architectural design pattern to develop the projects. And where you have used Apache Kafka in the project, I have given the scenario. Yep. These 5 questions are very common. Tell me about yourself. Explain about your project. What are the challenges you have faced in your current project? What are the design patterns you have implemented in your project? Where you have used Apache Kafka in your project? Where you have used multi-threading in your project? Where you have used multi-threading in your project? Multi-threading in your project. Where you have used collections in your project. Where you have used collections in your project. collections in your project. Did we implement multi-threading in our project, or we have not implemented multi-threading in our project? Did we implement multi-threading in our project, or we have not implemented multi-threading in our project? In correspondence, notices generation to process pending triggers parallelly, to process pending triggers parallelly, to process pending triggers parallelly. We have implemented multi-threading, implemented using executor framework. Multi-threading, used executor framework to implement multi-threading, used executors framework to implement multi-threading. We have used executors framework to implement multi-threading. Next one, where you have used collections in your project. So guys, can you tell me where we have used collections in our project? Can you tell me where we have used collections in our project? Guys, any idea? Did we use collections in our project, or we have not used collections in our project? Several places, right? In every module we have used collections. In every module. In every module we have used collections to represent group of objects. In every module we have used collections to represent group of objects. Okay? And one more thing is, what are your roles and responsibilities in the project? That is also very important question. What are your roles and responsibilities? What are your roles and responsibilities in your project? Can you tell me what are your roles and responsibilities in the project, guys? Can you guys tell me what are your roles and responsibilities in the project? Understanding requirements, requirements analysis, design, development, testing, deployment, bug fixing. Okay, so as a developer, these are the common roles and responsibilities that you need to follow. So you are going to develop a requirement, right? So in order to do that development, first you need to understand what is the requirement. In order to develop that, first you need to understand the requirement. So functional team is going to give you the requirement. That requirement you have to understand very clearly. Understanding the requirement and discussion with the doubts, queries, clarification, getting the clarification for queries, getting clarifications for queries. Who is going to clarify your functional queries? Scrum Master will clarify your functional queries, or functional team will clarify your functional queries? You got some doubt on the functionality. To whom you need to contact? When you have a doubt in the functionality of the requirement, you have a doubt on the FDD. If you have a doubt in the FDD, to whom you need to contact? If you have a doubt in the FDD, whom you need to contact? Functional team. Okay, functional team is going to give the requirement Functional team is going to give the requirement. You need to understand the requirement, and whenever you get some doubt on the requirement, you need to get the clarifications on the queries, and you need to analyze that requirement. You need to design, you need to develop, you need to test, you need to deploy, and you need to do bug fixing. These all are the roles and responsibilities of your project. Okay. What are the challenges you have faced in your current project? So I told you what are the challenges we have faced in the current project. What are the design patterns you have used in the project? We discussed about the design patterns. What are the challenges? What are the design patterns? And where you have used Kafka in your project? And where you have used multi-threading in your project? Where you have used collections in your project? Right? Where you have used collections in your project. Right. How you fixed data migration issue? That is, the DB team is going to take the migration issue. As a developer, you are not going to fix it. The migration team will be available to migrate the data. The DB migration team will be available. The DB migration team is going to fix that issue. Okay, you are not going to fix it. All right, guys. Understood what are your roles and responsibilities as a Java developer? Able to understand what are your roles and responsibilities as a Java developer? Next one, they will ask a question, how your project will be deployed. How your project will be deployed to server. How your project will be deployed to server. Our project is having DevOps team who will create the Jenkins job for us. In our project, for our project, we have a DevOps team. For our project, we have DevOps team. For our project, we have DevOps team. We will send a request. We will send request for DevOps team to create Jenkins jobs. We will run Jenkins job to deploy our application. For our project, we have DevOps team. When project development starts, any project, REST API, right? Whenever a REST API development is getting started, we will be sending a request for DevOps team to create Jenkins jobs. Once a Jenkins job is created, we will run Jenkins job to deploy our application. How your project will be deployed to server? For our project, we have a DevOps team. When project development starts, we will send a request to the DevOps team to create the Jenkins job. Once a Jenkins job created, we will run Jenkins job to deploy our application. Can I show you that work, guys? Can I show you that Jenkins deployment task? 1 second. Let me go to AWS console. Let me go to my AWS console. You no need to know that complete Jenkins jobs creations and all, because those things will be taken care by the DevOps team. You just need to know how to run the job in the Jenkins. Now, Let me take my dev VM, start instance. I will connect to this instance by using Mobile Extreme software, which is my AWS EC2 instance. In that my Tomcat server is available and my Jenkins is also available. Let me show you that part. Let's go to our Git repository where the code is available. The code will be available in the Git repository. This is my Maven web application where my Git repository is available. My Java Maven project is available here. My Jenkins server is running in the AWS EC2. Actually, this is a DevOps course topic that I'm going to discuss now, guys. So see here. Let me show you that how the deployment is going to happen for you. In the DevOps yesterday only I have explained that concept. In the DevOps 8:30 p.m. I have explained that concept yesterday. Yeah. Can you see this diagram? Can you see this diagram? How the project should be deployed? Now, you guys are the developers. As a developer, you will do the coding and you will push the code to Git repository. Okay. Once the code is pushed to the Git repository, who is responsible to deploy that code? Jenkins. What is Jenkins? Jenkins is a CI/CD software which is used to automate build and deployment process of our application. As a developer, you are going to push the code into GitHub repository. That code you are pushing to GitHub, then Jenkins job will be available. Jenkins job is going to take the code from the GitHub repository and it is going to interact with the Maven for compiling your project, for packaging your project. Once your packaging is done, then Jenkins is going to deploy that project to Tomcat server. That WAR file which is created by the Maven, that WAR file Jenkins is going to deploy into Tomcat server. Are you guys able to understand the deployment process of our application? Developers will push the code to GitHub. Jenkins' job is going to take the code from the Git repository and Jenkins is going to interact with the Maven for project compilation, and Jenkins is going to take the WAR file from the Maven and Jenkins will deploy the WAR file to Tomcat server. Okay. Now, if you see that configuration, I have taken one Linux machine in the AWS. We already discussed about EC2 instances in the Linux. In the Linux machine, my Tomcat server is installed, my Jenkins software is installed. Let me start them once. Let me go to the EC2 instance and let me access them. Mobile Extreme. Okay. Now dev VM, I'm going to take the public IP. Let me connect to this instance Linux machine which is having my Jenkins server and Tomcat. Advanced SSH, private key, upload this PEM file, click on OK. I have connected. Now clear this. Let's go to present working directory. I'm in the EC2 ls-l. Currently I'm in the Apache Tomcat folder. cd space bin directory, cd space Apache Tomcat, cd space bin directory. Then inside the bin directory do ls-l. Can you see a command called startup.sh? Now /startup.sh. My Tomcat server started. My Tomcat server is running on the port number 9090 in the Linux machine. So take this public IP of the Linux, go to the browser, access 89090. Now, can you see Apache Tomcat dashboard I'm able to access? Can you see that I'm able to access Apache Tomcat dashboard? Guys, yes or no? Yes, I'm able to access Apache Tomcat dashboard. Got it. Now, go to server status. The Tomcat credentials I have configured as admin only. Sign in. Now go to list applications. Here Ashok IT web application is available. Let me undeploy this application. Fine. There are some default applications available. My application is not available. My application is available in the GitHub repository. My application is available in the GitHub repository. Now I want the Jenkins to deploy my application. I want the Jenkins to take the project from the GitHub and deploy the application to Tomcat server. Tomcat server is running in the Linux. Am I able to access the Tomcat server in the browser, Tomcat admin console? Am I able to access Tomcat admin console in the browser? Currently, is there any application available which is running in my Tomcat? Ashok IT with a name called Ashok IT. Is there any application available now? Currently, there is no application available which is having the name as Ashok IT. Okay, good. Now, in the same EC2 instance, my Jenkins also installed. Let me go to the EC2 instance. This is console where my Tomcat server started. And let me duplicate this tab. I'm going here. Sudo, let me check the sudo systemctl status of Jenkins. Now, can you see status of my Jenkins? Jenkins is also running. By default, Jenkins will run on the port number 8080. Go to browser, access the Jenkins by using 8080. Now, within the EC2 instance, my Jenkins is running, my Tomcat is also running. Let me log in into Jenkins. Invalid credentials, admin. I will log in into what happened? Admin. Perfect. I logged in into my Jenkins. Okay. Now here, guys, you no need to worry about this Jenkins and all because DevOps engineers are responsible to create the Jenkins. Now, I will do some modification. Let me do some changes in this Jenkins job, Ashok IT dev job, configure. Let me change some build trigger in the Jenkins. Now I don't do this poll SCM, click on save, click on apply. Very good. So now I have a job called Ashok IT dev job is available. How many times the build is triggered for this job, guys? 6 times the build triggered for the job. Now let's go to this Maven web application. Let's change the index.html, index.jsp file available. Welcome to Ashok IT. And I'm removing all these things. Welcome to Ashok IT. Okay. Here I am writing something. Click on commit. I have done some changes in my Git repository. That is my project, Maven web application. I have changed something. Now, this Maven project I want to deploy into my Jenkins. The Maven project, by using Jenkins, I want to deploy the Maven project and I want to do the deployment. Currently, here guys, if you see, do you have any application with a name called Ashok IT here? Do you have any application with a name called Ashok IT here? There is no application available with a name called Ashok IT. This is a Tomcat. Where is my Tomcat server running now? Where is my Tomcat server running? Can you guys tell me? My Tomcat server is running in the AWS cloud. Now, project source code is available in the GitHub. Developers are pushing the source code to the GitHub repository and the Jenkins software is available. DevOps team will create the job in the Jenkins. The Jenkins job will take the code from the GitHub, will execute the Maven goals. Maven will compile the project by using Java compiler, will package the project as a WAR file. Jenkins will give the WAR file to the Jenkins will get the WAR file from the Maven. Then that WAR file will be deployed to the Tomcat server, Jenkins and Tomcat both are running in the Linux machine only. Now you see in the browser, I'm able to access my Jenkins. This is the IP of my Linux VM, which is a EC2 instance. Jenkins running on the port number 8080. Tomcat is running on the port number 9090. Now go to Jenkins job. Already 6 times the job executed. Yesterday evening in the DevOps class, I have executed the Jenkins job. Now I have modified the code in the Git repository. Now I want to deploy the project into the Tomcat server. Observe. I want to deploy the project into Tomcat server. I have already having Jenkins job created by the DevOps team. As a developer, you log in into the Jenkins and you run the Jenkins job. Then Jenkins job will perform the build and the deployment activity. Let me show you that. So you no need to know how to create the Jenkins jobs and all. You just need to know how to run the job. So Ashok IT project I want to deploy, which is available in the GitHub repository. Go to the Jenkins job which is created. There is an option called build now. Click on the build now. Now you see 7th build is going to start. 7th build is started. 7th build is started. 7th build is started, which is going to do the build and the deployment of our project. Which is going to do the build and the deployment of our project. Where the project is getting deployed? In the Tomcat server. Where is the Tomcat server? AWS cloud. So this is how you will manage the deployment. So you are going to deploy the project to dev environment for testing purpose. Whenever you commit your code, the code will be integrated with the other developers' code. That integrated code you want to deploy into dev environment. For the dev environment, there is a Jenkins job. You just go to the Jenkins and execute the dev job. Then the dev job is going to do the build and the deployment of your project into server. Who is creating Jenkins jobs? Developers will create the Jenkins jobs, or a DevOps team will create the Jenkins job. Tell me, who is creating the Jenkins job, guys? Who is creating the Jenkins job? Can you tell me that? DevOps team is creating the Jenkins job. Got it. Now, the build got failed here. Let us see the console output. Why the build is failure? Connection timed out. Build step failed. Let me see why it is failed. Go to configure. Source code management, GitHub repository, get credentials, build triggers I have removed, build environment, build, post build actions, war file, Ashok IT web, credentials, Tomcat URL. Oh, yeah. The problem is the IP address of the Tomcat is changed. Public IP will be changed every time. So I need to give the latest IP of the Tomcat server. Save it. Save it. Now, let me come back. 7th build got failed, guys. I'm going to trigger the build again. Build now. 8th build is getting triggered. Now see, 8th build is getting triggered. Let's see that build is going to success or fail. That build is success. 8th build is success. Go to the Tomcat list applications. Can you see Ashok IT web project is deployed? In the Tomcat, can you see Ashok IT web project is deployed? Yes, Ashok IT web project deployed in the Tomcat. Access that application. Can you access this Ashok IT web application which is deployed in the Tomcat server now? Which is deployed in the Tomcat server. Can you access it? Can you access that URL which is deployed in the AWS cloud by using Jenkins? By using Jenkins, are you able to access? All of you, please hit that URL and see. Are you able to access the application deployed in the Tomcat server? It is a Java Maven web application. It is a Java Maven web application. All right. Now, here our project is deployed into Tomcat server. The Tomcat server is running in the AWS cloud. Okay. Now, as a developer, I'm going to modify my code. Okay. Currently, in my web page, it is displaying as welcome to Ashok IT. I will change that file, index.jsp file is displaying that message. That file is available in the GitHub. Now I am going to change that file text, guys. I am modifying my code. As a developer, will modify the code. Instead of the welcome to Ashok IT, I'm going to configure it as Leading Software Training Institute. Leading Software Training. I have changed the H1 tag text in the Ashok IT website. Okay. Let me commit my changes. Let me commit my changes. Now access the URL. Whatever the change I have made in the GitHub, is it reflecting in the server or it is not reflecting in the server? My project is already deployed to the Tomcat. After project deployment completed, I have done some change in the GitHub repository. Whatever the change I made in the GitHub repository, is it reflecting in the Tomcat server? It is not reflecting in the Tomcat server. Is it reflecting in the Tomcat server or it is not reflecting in the Tomcat server? Can you tell me now? Not reflecting. Now you want to deploy your latest changes to the Tomcat. Then what you need to do? You have modified the code in the Git repository. Whatever the code you have modified in the Git, now you want to deploy that code into Tomcat server. Tell me what you need to do here to deploy that code into Tomcat server. What is your duty here? You need to create the job or you need to just execute the job which is already created. You need to create the job again or you need to run the job which is already created in the Jenkins to deploy the latest code. You need to just run the job. So do you know how to run the job in the Jenkins? Go to the job which is going to deploy your code. Go to that job, Ashok IT dev job in the Jenkins. In the Jenkins, I have this job. Already 8 times the job got executed. Then I'm going to execute once again. Click on build now. Click on build now. 9th time the job is getting executed, which is going to take the latest code from the Git repository, package the project by using Maven, deploy the project into Tomcat server. 9th time I have executed. Now refresh our project. Latest change deployed to server. Is that JSP file reflecting here? Is my project is reflecting here? Can you access the project URL now? So now tell me how I have deployed my project source code to the server. Are we creating the job in the Jenkins? Are we running the job in the Jenkins? Are we creating the job in the Jenkins? Are we running the job in the Jenkins? We are just running the job. Now tell me who will create the jobs and who will run the jobs? Who will create the jobs and who will run the jobs? DevOps teams are going to create the jobs and the developers are going to run that job to deploy. Okay, so when you modify the code, can you deploy your code into server directly? When you modify the code, can you deploy the code into server directly? Yes or no? Come on guys, tell me fast. We have to run the job. So DevOps team is going to create the job for us and we are going to run that job. Okay. Now, can I show you some automation related to CI/CD. Sir, can I configure like this? If I commit the code to Git repository, automatically Jenkins job should be executed. I don't even want to run the job. When I commit my code, Jenkins should trigger the job automatically. Can we configure? Currently, when you modify the code in the Git repository, then we are going to the Jenkins and we are running the job. We are going to the Jenkins and we are running the job now. Now, but what I want to do is, when the code is committed, I want to deploy that code immediately. I don't want to run the job. Job should start automatically when I modify some code in the Git repository. Can we do that configuration in the Jenkins? Is it possible? Is it possible, guys? Come on, is it possible? Yes or no? When you commit some code in the Git repository, I want to deploy that code immediately to the server. I don't want to run the job. Job should execute automatically when some commit happen to the Git repository. That also we can do. Can I do that now? Job is already created. So this is the job name is Ashok IT dev job, which is deploying Ashok IT website into the Tomcat server. Now go to this job. There is an option called configure option. Go to build trigger. When this build should be executed, poll SCM. I'm configure ***. This is a cron expression. Poll SCM I am configuring. This poll SCM configuration means every minute the Jenkins job will check the Git repository. Is there any commit happened? First 1 minute completed. The Jenkins job will check with the Git. Hey Git, any commit happened? No. Then wait for 1 minute. Again after 1 minute go to Git repository. Hey Git, any commit happened? No. Again after 1 minute we'll go to the Git repository. Hey Git, any commit happened? If a commit happened, immediately Jenkins job is going to execute. That is the configuration I am doing. Poll SCM schedule, 5 stars I am giving, save. Now I have modified my job configuration trigger condition. So now what is the trigger I have given for my job? If you commit the code, automatically Jenkins job is going to execute. You don't even need to run the job also. Earlier we have run the job manually to deploy the project into Tomcat server. Now I made the Jenkins job to execute automatically when the code modified in the GitHub repository. Okay. Now go to GitHub repository, click on edit. Guys, before going to edit, can you see what is the last build number? Can you see what is the last build number? Can you confirm? In the Jenkins, what is the last build number? 9th is the last build number. Now go to this is JSP file. Let's make some edit for the JSP. Leading Software Training Institute in India. I'm adding my change. A leading software training institute in India. Okay. Let me commit the changes to Git repository. Commit the changes. Go to the Jenkins and wait. See that last build number is 9. Now you wait and see that. I have committed the code to GitHub. I'm not doing anything now. I'm just waiting for the Jenkins to start. Let's keep an eye on the build numbers. Left side you can see build numbers. 9th is the last number. Now I have committed my change in the Git repository. Let's wait and see what is the behavior of the Jenkins now. I'm not doing anything on my screen. I'm just waiting for the Jenkins. See the server, it is not reflected. Now build is not yet started. Let us see. Yeah, guys, can you see that when I refresh my Jenkins, that build is started automatically? Because 1 minute is waiting, the build started automatically. Did I run the job or the job started automatically now? Guys, did I run the Jenkins job or the Jenkins job started automatically? Started automatically, build completed. Refresh our server. Is that change reflecting? Is the change reflecting? Automatically, the change reflected in the server, automatically the latest code is deployed to the server by Jenkins or not? Now, I will do commit once again. I will change it. What is the last build number? What is the last build number? 10th is the last build number. Go to this repository, edit this file. I'm removing this extra text here. I'm just keeping as welcome to Ashok IT. Currently in the server, this text is also available. Now in the JSP, I have removed the text. I kept as only welcome to Ashok IT. Now commit the change. Now my code committed just now. Go to Jenkins and wait. 10th was the last build, and wait for the Jenkins and see that what is happening in the Jenkins. Let's wait and see the build number. Let's wait and see the build number. Let's wait and see the build number. Wait and see that. How much time it is going to take to identify the changes in the GitHub? Guys, can you see build started 11th one? Can you see the build started 11th one? Did I run the job or job started automatically? Did I run the job or job started automatically? Automatically job started. Now refresh our application. Change is reflecting. Extra text is removed or not? My change is reflecting in the website or not? Come on guys. So whenever you commit the code to Git repository, whenever you push the code to Git repository, automatically the code is deploying to the server. This is called CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. Continuous integration and continuous deployment. When the developer modify the code, immediately that code is going to deploy into the server by using Jenkins. Like this, we are going to manage deployments in our application. How beautiful it is. You commit the code to GitHub, then Jenkins job will execute. DevOps team will create the Jenkins job, that whatever the code you commit, that code it is going to take and it is going to deploy to the server. This is called continuous integration and continuous deployment. Continuous integration, continuous deployment. You are doing the development, DevOps people will do the operations. It is called development plus operations. It is called development plus operations. Are you guys clear with my point? How to manage the deployments in our project? Now can you answer them? How to manage the deployments in our project? So we are the developers. We will ask the DevOps team to create the jobs in the Jenkins. So in the Jenkins, we can run the job whenever we want, or we can automate the job execution, CI/CD. When the code is modified in the server, Jenkins will take the latest code and it is going to deploy to the server. That we have seen practically today. How your project will be deployed to server? For our project, we have DevOps team. When project development starts, we will send the request for a DevOps team to create the Jenkins jobs. Once a Jenkins job created, we will run the Jenkins job to deploy our application. We can configure CI/CD in Jenkins. We can configure CI/CD in Jenkins. That means when code got committed to Git repo, then Jenkins job should execute automatically to perform build and deployment. How your project will be deployed to server? For our project, we have DevOps team. When project deployment starts, we will send the request for the DevOps team to create the Jenkins jobs. Once a Jenkins job created, We will run the Jenkins job to deploy our application. We can configure CI/CD in Jenkins. That means when code got committed to Git repo, then Jenkins job should execute automatically to perform build and deployment activity. Are you guys able to understand this process? I have shown you in the live. I have pushed the code to Git repository. The latest code is deploying to the Tomcat server. Tomcat server is in the AWS cloud. Jenkins job is there. Jenkins also running in the EC2 instance in the AWS. I'm able to access the Jenkins dashboard, and I'm able to access the Tomcat dashboard, and I'm able to see the application which is running in the Tomcat. Like this, people will manage the deployments in the real time. Are you guys comfortable? Now tell me, so how you need to deploy your code? You need to run the job. That's it. Job will be created by DevOps teams. Job will be created by DevOps teams. You just need to run the job.